I'll take this opportunity to create my lecture, who will be assessing my model of a human brain. I have created a model of a human brain by gathering different things that combine to come up with a beautiful human brain structure. I have created my model using ordinary things such as stones, tree leaves, orange leaves, together with silver coin. I will explain each part of the brain through my model on how I was creative. I will explain which part of the brain is represented in my model. First, the frontal lobe is represented by stones. Secondly, the parental lobe is represented by the tree leaves. The occipital lobe is represented by jackal-fruit. The temporal lobe is represented by orange fruit leaves. The cerebellum is represented by silver coin. The brainstem is represented by tree leaves. I will also look at the function of the part of the brain. I will start with the frontal lobe. It is one of the largest part of the context. The central function are to processing info, relating for memory, planning, decision making, goal setting, and being creative. And I will also look at the temporal lobe. When we look at the temporal lobe, it's which is located in the side of the cerebellum and responsible for processing auditory information. And I will focus on parental lobe. Parental lobe is at the top of the brain and responsible of touch, help to determine the position and integrate visual information. And also the occipital lobe, which is also known as the visual cortex, is one that stimulates visual and received by thalamus, send signal to occipital lobes. There are many functions that involves determining motion, color, distance, depth, and other visual features. And it is important of the visual processing in learning. And I will also look on the cerebellum. When we talk about the cerebellum, it's one of the important part of the brain, which is at the back, which stimulates for a body balance, muscular control, movement, body posture, and a key motor key in acquisition. And I will focus on the brainstem. It's at the base of the brain that controls body function, breathing, blood pressure, and sleep and wakefulness. And I will also look on the three aspects that I have learned during creating my human brain model. Firstly, the language development, which is part of a cognitive development and profound implication for learning, and the rapid increase in vocabulary between the age of 19 and 31. Secondly, the aspect of auditory development. The first 2 years are the most critical, and especially after the 4th month. And the brain development is, however, a long life process. Thirdly, the motivation and emotions. I will start by focusing on the motivation. Motivation is defined as a process whereby a goal is directed activity are integrated and sustained. Motivation actions include making choices of tasks, even effort, persistence, and achievement. We'll also look further on motivation. There are 2 neutral counterparts, which are reward and motivation state. And also the brain seems to have a system of processing rewards. And I will jump to emotions. Emotions are the reaction that consist of 4 overlapping stages, which are namely orienting complex, emotion event, integration, response selection, and sustain emotional context. And emotions also influences learning and memory, even including the negative side effects, which are stress hormones and high stress. And I will also look to two questions that relate to my brain function. First of the question, does a human brain have a capacity to store 5 or more times as much information as a website? The second question, is a human brain memory capacity infinite? Those were my two questions that were focusing on my brain function. And I will look on one aspect, which was interesting as I was creating my model and as I was training my brain. This aspect is emotion on learning and memory. The emotion has substantial influence on cognitive processes in a human brain, include the perception, the attention, learning, memory, reasoning, and problem solving. These emotions have strong influence on attention, especially modulating the selective of attention. However, the effects of emotion on learning and memory are not always univalent, as studies have reported that emotion either enhance and impairs learning and long-term memory. Recent neuroimages findings have indicating that the prefrontal cortex cooperate with medial temporal lobe. And we also view that nested hierarchies circulating emotion, control, and cognitive regulation. One of the most important things that I should focus on, emotions are the building blocks of a human brain and is one of the aspects that helps in